Document spells out allegations against 12 UN employees Israel says participated in the Hamas attack. I don't believe anything that comes out of Israel until there's like a tremendous amount of evidence and not evidence directly coming from the IDF, because I don't believe that either. But even if it's real, okay, even if it's really real, bro, this agency has like 12,000 employees. What the fuck are we talking about? Oh shit, dude. 12,000 employees with like 12 people working with Hamas. Damn, dude. I guess we should kill every Palestinian now by shutting off aid as they're being ethnically cleansed. The fuck out of here. Yeah. Oh, dude. 12 UN employees apparently were Hamas, which, by the way, we'll probably quietly find out that was also incredibly massaged too. This is usually how it works. But even if it's 100% true, like you're talking Yahya Sinwar level, okay? I don't give a shit. Fire them. It doesn't matter. Like almost 3 million motherfuckers rely, more than 3, almost 5 million people rely on this agency for survival. What are we talking about? Under the Israeli apartheid. What do you mean? 12 of them were working with Hamas. Oh, shit, dude. Fuck. I guess throw the whole agency away. 17 out of 19 attackers on 9/11 were Saudi. What do we do? That is a way higher percentage of people responsible for 9/11 that were Saudi. We didn't do shit. Tel Aviv, an Israeli document obtained Monday, spelled out allegations against a dozen UN employees of the country that took part in the Hamas's October 7 assault, claiming 7 stormed into Israeli territory, including one who participated in a kidnapping and another who helped steal a soldier's body. The allegations against staffers of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees prompted the United States and several other countries to freeze funds vital for the body. No, the real reason why we fucking froze funds vital for the body is because we're genocide-era pieces of shit. Straight up. That's it. I mean, that's the reason why we did that. It has been a long-standing goal of Israel to like destroy UNRWA. UNRWA is the major agency that is basically keeping Palestinians alive, and the fact that we just the fact that they have tried to, Israel has tried to like destroy UNRWA for the longest time, and America is just like leaning into it after the ICJ decision. It's not accidental. They did that on purpose. 100%. They did that on purpose. Just to say, like, we don't give a fuck. It's actually insanely fucked because Kerem Shalom crossing of humanitarian aid is blocked by protests and they're not evacuated. Israeli officials originally told the press that they obtained intel about 12 former UNRWA employees, 7 teachers, a custodian, on ground level staff. Through interrogation of detainees? Oh, dude, no way. No way they didn't get it. They did not just get it from interrogations. If that's the case, America should be punished at the global stage. And so should the United Kingdom. Anyone and everyone that has fucking pulled funding from UNRWA off of this information, this is not actionable information. I'm not going to believe this. I don't want to believe it. That is like legitimately the worst, dude. Shimbet, and it was because they like made a social media post or something about the martyrs. Oh my God. Now Israel's telling the New York Times they got the info through surveillance. The Times ran that new explanation without even mentioning the original one. Israeli officials apparently originally told Axios through, I guess, Barak Ravi's reporting, that they got this information through interrogation of detainees. This was strong and corroborated intelligence, the official said. A lot of the intelligence is a result of interrogations of militants who were arrested during the October 7 attack. Now that, of course, is not actionable intelligence. That's a lie because it's torture. We know for a fact that is not actionable intelligence. I've talked about it a lot. Because Israel has long been criticized by human rights groups for abusing and torturing detainees, the optics of that explanation were awkward in the West. Now Israel's telling the New York Times they got it through surveillance. The Times ran that new explanation without even mentioning the original one. Oh, God. I fucking despise the way that the New York Times is approaching this. The text message they used as evidence, by the way. Media coverage. UN Watch, a monitor UN performance, claims to have identified alleged UNRWA members affiliated with the October 7 attack. The non-governmental organization published several screenshots of chat messages on its site without further evidence to corroborate the information it provides or the alleged participation in the attack, as Israel claims. How'd you find out about all torture? All the torture, is that just what Israel does? Famously. Yes. I don't even think people in Israel believe the interrogation videos. They're not even fucking creative about it. Like, do you not remember after October 7th, the interrogation videos that they posted? It was literally like, yes, I am ISIS and I am Hamas and I am ISIS. Like, they would have these dudes like shaking with like visible scars going, yes, I am Hamas and I am ISIS. Yes, I am ISIS. I am just like ISIS as Hamas. It's just like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? I don't know. I feel like a decent portion of the Israelis believe the propaganda. I'm sure they believe the propaganda, not the fucking interrogation propaganda, though. That stuff is so above and beyond. UNRWA is also like specifically created for Israel's genocidal intent. Israel's actions since its inception have been so uniquely violent that like there's an entire agency specifically designed to like help Palestinians survive. I think the UNRWA shutdown was totally symbolic. I think it was basically just America and the UK saying like, "Oh yeah, nice ruling, nice court ruling you got there, International Court of Justice." But it's just us, baby. Did you see the Israeli conference about resettling Gaza? Yes, I did. The Pentagon press secretary says, "I'm not aware of any U.S. force on the ground in Yemen, but the White House recently told Congress United States military personnel are deployed to Yemen to conduct operations." John Kirby goes mask off when asked if Biden is going to look at the American people for his decision making.
In his response, has authorization under Article 2. Does that mean that he's planning to bypass Congress in any matter of war in terms of this response?
I'm not going to get ahead of his decision making. He has the authority under Article 2 as Commander-in-Chief. And as we have in the past, so we will in the future appropriately inform leaders in Congress about what we're doing in keeping with that authority.
Okay, so I just want to follow up because the president was sent a letter on Friday from a bipartisan group of lawmakers, and he had been accused of unauthorized strikes against the Houthis by bypassing Congress. They said no president, regardless of political party, has the constitutional authority to bypass Congress on matters of war. Do you think that that would apply here, given this escalation?
We're not at war with the Houthis. We're not looking for a war with Iran. The president is comfortable that he has the appropriate legal authorities to act in self-defense of our ships, our sailors, and our troops and our facilities at sea or shore.
Right. Isn't it time to involve the American people? I mean, given the fact that the American people were not happy about,
I suspect the American people are not happy about attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. I also suspect they're not happy about seeing American troops killed at a base in Jordan. The president has the authority to defend those troops and those facilities, and he'll do that.
He's weighing all of his options. This is an election year. Is the president looking at his polling when he's weighing all of these options? Is the president looking at what?
My goodness. That's a heck of a question. He's not looking, ma'am, let me just stop you right there.
Let me finish my question.
Commander-in-Chief is not looking at polling or considering the electoral calendar when he's defending.
Oh, he's definitely not. Because if he was, he'd be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this. This is like kind of dumb. Ma'am, that's one heck of a question. Yeah, well, he should be, actually, I think. Personally, I think he should be looking maybe a little bit. He's like, ma'am, you're so wrong. Biden is doing this because he's just nutty with it. There's not really any other reason. There's no rhyme or reason, if we're being for real, about the situation in Israel. We don't fully understand it. Well, except for me, John Kirby. I love what Biden is doing. But you know, a lot of people, ma'am, are calling what Biden is doing sicko mode. That's right. He is going full tilt. Doesn't matter. Pro-Israel unconditionally. Doesn't care if he loses an election. Doesn't even know that this is an election year, really. I mean, I've asked him. But let's get to Nancy Jebediah Pelosi, okay? I feel like foreign policy is its own entity, the empire, for sure. But even then, this transcends beyond that. Look at this. Whenever Biden hits a new low, the most common thing I see from Democrats is complaining about how it's the media's fault. But even if it was just that, why isn't a guy with 50 years of experience prepared for that? Isn't he supposed to be canny enough to avoid the usual pitfalls? Great question. Biden's job approval among ages 18 to 29 is right now sitting at a whopping 71% disapproval. Framework for ceasefire deal being put to Hamas, the Qatar prime minister says. Proposal for the 45-day pause in fighting and release of 35 Israeli hostages and up to 4,000 Palestinian prisoners. The base of the deal is a 45-day pause in the fighting, leading to the release of 35 Israeli hostages and as many as 4,000 Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. I mean, I foresee a lot of the ceasefire negotiations going south regardless, not just the negotiations process, but like, I think that once the last hostage is out of Gaza, it's like bedlam. Mother Nancy Pelosi went on Donna Bash's State of the Union, okay? And she has some choice words for the activists. You silly little activists. You silly little activists running around demanding ceasefires in Gaza and shit like that. Let's take a look.
My house all the time. So I have a feeling for what feelings they have. But we have to think about what we're doing. And what we have to do is try to stop the suffering in Gaza.
How do we do that? Yeah, if only there was a way to stop the suffering in Gaza. I'm sorry. Help. I can't stop giving weapons to the guys doing the suffering in Gaza.
Women and children, people who don't have a place to go. So let's address that.
I love the lib line is like, she's right about Russia. Okay, we're America. What do you mean? We could just literally not give Israel the weapons and be like, sorry, this is going to Ukraine. The idea that like Russia is the reason why, or China is the reason why we're giving the weapons to Israel is so dumb. You're giving the weapons. What the fuck do you mean it's Russia? If anything, Russia loves America consistently giving the weapons that would normally go to Ukraine to Israel instead. This is what I don't understand. They're like, oh, Russia is what? Russia is stoking tensions. Okay, you don't understand. Russia is loving this right now. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine, fair. Is Israel's genocidal actions in Gaza genuinely to Russia's benefit in Ukraine? Absolutely. Who's the one arming Ukraine and arming Israel? We are. So clearly, if your goal is like, no, we got to give Ukraine these weapons, like we can't let Russia win, then fucking stop arming Israel. It makes no sense.
But for them to call for a ceasefire is Mr. Putin's message.
What do you mean? Why? If they called for a ceasefire in Gaza, if there was a ceasefire in Gaza, then you could just go back to arming Ukraine instead of arming Israel. This makes no sense. How do we know what's the truth? Like, how do we know if Israel's receiving arms from the USA? I mean, there's logs of it. Like, there's tracking. They also flex it. It's the munitions type that they're using. Like, they're American arms. Brother, just Google it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. When we send arms to a country, unless it's like a black budget operation, oftentimes it's like, even then there's like some level of paper trail that you can use with a FOIA request. In most circumstances, like, we're very open, we're very public about who we're sending weapons to. And over the course of the past couple of months, I've covered extensively the fact that like the Biden administration has bypassed its own State Department regulations that they have with respect to what kind of weapons are being sent to Israel, and also the tracking and the tracking of the kinds of weapons being sent to Israel, and also what those weapons will be used for. Like, all of that stuff, all of those norms, I guess, we completely eviscerated. Beyond that, Biden has sidestepped congressional approval to continue giving more arms to Israel. Also, then there's a much larger arming bill as well. I don't know. I mean, here, this is literally the CIA's very own. This is the Voice of America. operated by the State Department. Like it's not hidden. It's not like a secret. I've never thought about someone being like, what's the source on this? What's the source on Biden living in the White House? Excuse me? Source? Was that like a gotcha? I don't know. Maybe he just genuinely didn't know. I don't. It's funny because you said Raytheon makes the Iron Dome missiles in Arkansas. Yes, they also make the white phosphorus that Israel is illegally using. Both doubly illegal. Illegal because Israel is a belligerent occupier, and also doubly illegal because you're not supposed to use white phosphorus on a civilian population as a means to like torture them. So yeah, Arkansas also produces like the white phosphorus Israel is using as well on the civilian population in Gaza. Yeah, you can't use it on soldiers either. Yeah, you're not supposed to use it unless I think it's like what, to just like light it up. Like it's supposed to be used as a means to, like, there's two different ones, right? It's either for smoke cover or for lighting up the sky, right? Isn't it? There's like it's an illumination target. It's just smoke for concealment or marking. Yeah. No, white phosphorus isn't for illumination. Illumination rounds exist for that reason, not white phosphorus. I thought white phosphorus and illumination rounds were similar. But I might be wrong. I've talked about this before. I'm not a munitions autist at all. I don't know enough. Or, I'm not a War Thunder player. Exactly. It used to be used to illuminate, but now there's less dangerous stuff. White phosphorus for illumination is very prone to blow up and no bueno if you want things to be illuminated and to also be burned alive. Oh, I got sidetracked by this guy asking for sources. But Nancy Pelosi. Interesting stuff from Nancy. Never really thought about it this way. And now that I have thought about it this way, I realize that it's the dumbest fucking argument you could possibly make. Because if your point overall is to claim that Russia personally is like pushing for a ceasefire and would benefit greatly from a ceasefire, well then you're a fucking dumbass. A cessation of hostilities in Gaza would mean that America could care more about Ukraine rather than Israel. I don't know, maybe because they're stupid, that's why.
Mr. Putin.
These Russians are so stupid. Mr. Putin, tear down that wall.
There is Mr. Putin's message. Mr. Putin's message. Make no mistake, this is directly connected to what he would like to see. Same thing with Ukraine. It's about Putin's message. I think some of these protesters are spontaneous and organic and sincere. Some, I think, are connected to Russia, and I say that having...
This argument has been the same in perpetuity. Russia takes advantage of American political instability all the time. Of course, they are a foreign adversary declared as a foreign adversary. It does not matter. You cannot get out of this situation by being like, well, that's Russia. That's a Russian agent speaking. Okay? It is such a ridiculous, such a idiotic assessment by Nancy Pelosi for the reasons that I just mentioned. It doesn't matter if Russia is like prodding protesters to push for a ceasefire or whatever the fuck Nancy Pelosi thinks. Okay? There are still a shit ton of people demonstrably, according to polling at least, especially in younger demographics, that genuinely think that America's help and facilitation of the genocide, the ethnic cleansing in Gaza is gross and should stop.